So I know it's my choice to go for the Farah Mercy, but looking back, yeah, it's actually not that good. So in this case, if we had run Farah as well as sorry, we had run Junkrat as well as a Baptiste here, it would have helped us to break the opponent's shield faster. Could have maybe evened out this fight a little bit much better. Okay, so good raining of rockets here. You saw that the Orisa was low. Boop was not necessary because here, if it's not near to a environmental kill, booping them doesn't really do that much. So yeah, not really necessary to use boop in this case. Normally, you can reserve your boop to actually you use it on one of the roofs to reposition yourself as a Pharah. But she have kept up the fire on the Orisa. But here, Orisa is half. Yeah, I don't blame you for focusing on the Orisa here because you were thinking that you could get a kill. But you saw that it has been healed up. So here, normally I would suggest that you focus down on your counter, which is the hit scan DPS. Because the main counter to a flying DPS is in that case would be okay. The echo will be hard to hit, but normally you can try if you're good. But what you call it, the Ash will have been a better target. So either focusing on the supports such as the Baptiste or the Ash would have been a better choice of using your focus and your shots. But here, yeah, the Orisa is full health. No point focusing on the Orisa. If you look around, there are so many weak targets, squishy targets behind. Like I mentioned before, Orisa actually, let's take a look at Orisa's health. Orisa has 450, but part of it is actually armor. So generally, you can think of tanks as roughly about 600 health, if without armor calculations. But even at 450 health, you think that Orisa can be burst down, but it's not because armor will reduce a lot of the damage. So you can consider a tank roughly about 600 health. But let's say if a squishy target, for example, for like Baptiste is only at 200 health. Same thing, I believe, for an Ash as well, is 200 health. So they are like one third as easy to take down as compared to taking down a tank. So this is why, as a DPS player, whether you're on Pharah or any other heroes, you should be focusing on the supports and the DPS rather than the front line. Okay, here they use a drone, something much you can do. So I like that you took a bit of cover with the wall there. Yep, we tried to focus on the echo, but as mentioned, your sensitivity a little bit on the high side. So with such a high sensitivity, it's pretty hard to land precise shots. There you were spamming on the brick, I think. Yep, so you can just fly up. Yeah, here again the focus is on the tanks, and as I mentioned, there are so many squishy targets there. Your number one squishy target is here, is the Ash. So if you land one more rocket on the Ash, you would have taken her down and could have maybe turned the fight for the team. Okay. So eventually we lose cause Echo wiped out everyone. Yeah. Okay, and that's about it. Okay, so for this part, they were pushing in, and so Gemster was, yeah. So Gemster this time was targeting the brick and the Baptiste, which is good. The issue is that our shields get broken because the Echo was mainly focusing the shields. And yeah, that flank by Gemster there also didn't really help us because there is precious time that the DPS is not doing damage to their shield or to their backline. And I believe, yeah, he was looking for a barrage before he wanted to switch, I think. Yeah, I was looking for a barrage. Yep. But because of the lack of having another heavy spamming DPS, and the fact that we are running a Mercy compared to them running a Baptiste really puts it at a huge disadvantage in terms of shield break. So I do disagree. So I know it's my choice to go for the Farah Mercy, but looking back, yeah, it's actually not that good. So in this case, if we had run Farah as well as we had run Junkrat as well as a Baptiste here, it would have helped us to break the opponent's shield faster. Could have maybe evened out this fight a little bit much better. Okay, so one thing is, if we're running the Pharah Mercy, then I think probably the Pharah's job in this case will have to be focused on breaking shields. If not, then has to get a lot of backline picks fast. But maybe other than that, we could maybe adjust the composition to run Baptiste Junkrat instead, with our double tanks. Because here I note that our tank line, our ground team is facing a lot of trouble. Yeah, and yeah, so our Pharah not able to get a barrage off and eventually got lost a 1v1. It's not really a 1v1, the Echo was focusing him as well, so it was like a 2v1. And without the Baptiste, because the Mercy was only pocketing the Pharah, so it is not good. Even though the Mercy came down to help support the team here, we're still losing out on a lot of DPS because we have 1 DPS down and they have 6. So with 6 as in the support is also doing damage to our shields, but the Mercy doesn't really do any damage. As well as the Moira also doesn't do damage to shields as well. Even when they're running break, even their break actually does damage to shields as well. So this is why we're losing the shield break wall very often. So mostly it's based on our hero picks. So since we lose the shield break wall, we're taking so much damage, outcharge goes in their favor. So they out us, we die, and we get wiped out here. So this is probably a composition error on my part as well. So I would suggest copying the enemy's composition here is pretty good, except for the Ashe. If you do not have a good Ashe player, if you're able to run Echo with our new DPS player, that would be good. And we'll probably want to run Baptiste, as well as we can either run a Brig or we could run a Moira. Yeah, actually a Baptiste Brig, who has more utility? I would probably agree with their Baptiste and their Brig pick, because it's a little bit better against dive. So the Brig is actually meant for here to protect the team if the enemy switch over to a dive comp. So it gives utility in that way. With the rally as well, because of the speed boost and extra armor, it also helps the team to push in to attack towards the other opposing double shield or brawl team. So the support lineup pick is actually better. And in the pick of Echo, there is a better shield break hero there. Okay, so for this part, in hindsight here, having Gemster use the ult before he switch actually caused the start of our steam of the snowball. I think even though Gemster traded 1-on-1, let's see from his side. Yeah, he did trade 1-on-1. They did not have a Pharah, so technically it's a 5v5. But in hindsight, I mean, that was the start of the snowball actually, of their snowball into full cap. Because if we had Jamster go back to switch, even with the Pharah out to switch into Junkrat, it would have still been a 6v6, and we might have a better chance because we could have had similar shield break as compared to them. But technically 5v5 we should have the advantage. Let's see this play out. Okay. Yeah, but getting Ramblik picked here is big as well, because now the fight swings in their favor with a 5v4. And with a 5v4 with both our DPSs down, and while they still have one healer, that means they have the Break, and they still have the Echo, and as well as the Ashe, there's just too much DPS for our tanks and our supports to try and fight it. So really good combo, really good pull into Gravitic Clutch combo from our tanks here. Yeah, but see, without the DPS output, there's no way to finish them off, and it only gives the healers more healing, and it just charges their ultimates so much faster. I mean, the Break already has out, so yep. So valiant effort here, we try to pull, but our DPS are still not with us. And because of that, okay, Celes makes a really good pick on their opposing what should I say, Orisa. But this because our shields get broken and Celes was really low, Echo with a focusing beam just kills Celes immediately. So in the meanwhile, Gemster spam couldn't make a big pick in time because the thing with Junkrat is that other than his Riptire, sometimes his spam is rather random. Like you can't really aim his shots, and you need like a degree of luck or the enemy to walk into your spam, especially at long range, for there to be kills. So mainly the Junkrat spam is good there for shield break, but once it has broken his shield, like the enemies normally can avoid it if they can see your Junkrat spam coming. But having Dramblik be out of position here, that means he wasn't behind his tank, he was trying to flank. Probably inexperience on his part. So now we lose another DPS again. And I believe now that Baptiste has joined up with them. So because the Orisa is dead, but they still have one tank, 2 DPS, 2 support. So it's a 5v4. So it's still in their advantage. So their snowball is still going on. And you can see Miko trying her best, but nothing much she can do when she is that outnumbered. And so it leads to another pick on their end. The Ashe picks out support, so it becomes 5v3. So 5v3 really hard to survive. And they use more ultimates because they have an outbank, because they do more damage. I mean, they have out advantage as they did more damage. And Celis, I think, dies immediately to the Echo, because Echo has focusing beam and such. So it's still a 5v3 and with a Bob as well. And now I believe, yeah, Orisa is almost entering the fray. So in the meanwhile, you can see Gemster, our Junkrat on high ground there, is still struggling to find a pick. Because, like I mentioned, the Junkrat spam, left click spam is really visible from long range. So if people are not going through a choke, that's the disadvantage of running a Junkrat. Even if you're high ground, you're staying relatively safe. You're not getting any direct picks. Like if you want to get direct picks, what Gemster used to do is he needed to come down to melee level and try to get a 1v1 with the Baptiste here. But that is really risky. If he just drops down, he immediately dies because all the enemies around will focus down on him. And in short, I mean, trading a DPS life for enemy support's life here wouldn't really help as well. So this is the weakness of a Junkrat. You're not able to have a focus fire to confirm kills. So Junkrat is really good for holding chokes and for his Riptire. But other than that, this is why not a lot of professionals or high-level DPS players like to play Junkrat. Yeah, but anyway, once Miko is down, we do not have any more tanks. And I believe, yeah, we're just dragging time here. So we already lost the fight, we're just buying time. Because now the full enemy, our enemy team is in all 6 men. Like, is there Baptiste? Oh no, we actually managed to get a pick on the Echo. But there's still 5 up. So you can see here it's like a 5v4, 5v3. So it becomes a 5v2. Even if Miko joins in, it's still a 5v3. Right? So for the last of this point C, we're constantly in 1 man down. So it's not really our tank line, it's not the tank line's fault that we keep losing this shield battle. Yeah, the fault is also on the DPSs as well. Okay, yeah, there were good holes here and there, but basically this fight is over.